Have you ever watched a massive airplane touchdown and thought, how on earth does something weighing hundreds of tons go from screaming down a runway at 250 kilometers per hour to a smooth stop in seconds? It seems almost impossible, right? Yet every day, thousands of airliners do it safely. Today, we're going to break down how airplanes slow down, and I promise, after this, every landing will look like a carefully choreographed ballet of physics. Let's start by putting this into perspective. Take the Boeing 747 again, the queen of the skies. Fully loaded, it weighs around 400 metric tons, or roughly the equivalent of 200 mid-sized cars. Cruising at 35,000 feet, it moves at roughly 900 kilometers per hour, faster than most bullets fired from a handgun. Now imagine trying to stop a freight train moving at 250 kilometers per hour. You can't just slam the brakes and hope for the best. That's the challenge engineers face every time a jetliner lands. Slowing down an airplane isn't about a single system. It's a combination of aerodynamic principles, mechanical systems, and engine management, all working in perfect harmony. Let's break it down step by step. Airplanes start decelerating before they even touch the ground. In flight, pilots manage speed using the throttle and drag control. When preparing to land, engines reduce thrust, letting air resistance naturally slow the plane. Pilots also adjust the pitch of the aircraft. The nose may rise slightly during descent, increasing drag and limiting acceleration. Modern airliners also have air brakes or speed brakes, panels that extend from the fuselage or wings to disrupt airflow and increase drag. This is similar to holding your hand out of a car window. Your hand pushes air and slows your motion. In aviation, these devices allow pilots to fine-tune speed during the approach, ensuring the aircraft reaches the runway at the optimal landing velocity. Once the aircraft touches down, the deceleration process becomes more dramatic and more complex. The wheels spin up almost instantly, engaging tire friction with the runway. But braking a 400-ton airplane isn't like braking a car. The kinetic energy is enormous, calculated as 1/2 times mass times velocity squared. Even a small increase in landing speed dramatically increases the energy that brakes must absorb. This is why landing speeds are calculated with precision. Pilots aim for VREF, the reference landing speed, which considers aircraft weight, runway length, and environmental factors. Too fast, and the brakes and runway are pushed to their limits. Too slow, and the aircraft risks stalling before touchdown. Right after touchdown, something remarkable happens. The spoilers deploy. These are hinged panels on top of the wings that suddenly rise into the airflow. You might think, why would you lift the wings when you want to slow down? The answer lies in physics and aerodynamics. While in flight, wings generate lift, keeping the airplane off the ground. But lift also means the wheels bear less weight, reducing the effectiveness of the brakes. When spoilers deploy, lift is destroyed, forcing the aircraft's weight onto the wheels for maximum brake traction, and drag increases. Air pushes back against the plane, naturally slowing it down. Without spoilers, even a modern airliner would need hundreds of meters more runway to stop safely, and they're one of aviation's most elegant examples of using aerodynamic forces to control motion. Next comes the most dramatic element, thrust reversers. Jet engines are typically designed to push air backward, propelling the aircraft forward. But after landing, the airflow can be redirected forward using movable vanes inside the engine nacelle. This creates a reverse thrust, opposing the plane's motion and helping to slow it down. If you've ever been on a landing and heard that thunderous roar just after touchdown, that's the engine actively helping to decelerate. Thrust reversal is so effective that in some cases it can halve the workload of the wheel brakes, dramatically increasing safety and reducing wear. Finally, we get to the traditional braking system, wheel brakes. These are far from ordinary car brakes, and each main landing gear wheel contains carbon or steel discs capable of handling extreme heat, over 1,000 degrees Celsius during heavy braking. That's because brakes absorb the airplane's kinetic energy and convert it into heat. Interestingly, pilots rarely slam the brakes to maximum immediately. They often apply them progressively, sometimes in combination with auto-brake systems that regulate pressure automatically. This avoids overheating the discs, prevents tire damage, and ensures smooth deceleration. Flaps aren't just for takeoff. On landing, they extend to increase lift at slower speeds, allowing the plane to touch down safely while maintaining control. At first glance, adding lift while trying to slow down seems counterintuitive, but here's the trick. Increased lift keeps the aircraft from descending too quickly during approach, and simultaneously flaps increase drag, which helps deceleration. Slats on the leading edge prevent airflow separation at low speeds, avoiding stalls. The result is a controlled, stable approach where the aircraft hits the runway at the right speed and angle, ready for braking systems to take over. Stopping an airplane safely isn't just about the aircraft itself. Weather and runway conditions play a huge role. Wet or icy runways reduce friction, requiring longer stopping distances. Wind direction can help or hinder deceleration. That's why pilots and air traffic controllers carefully calculate landing distances based on real-time conditions. In extreme cases, special runway grooving or rubber removal procedures are used to maximize friction. It's a delicate balance between physics, engineering, and human decision-making. Once the aircraft has slowed to around 70 to 80 kilometers per hour, spoilers retract, thrust reversers disengage, and wheel brakes take the lead for the final few meters. Pilots may use differential braking, slightly varying brake pressure between left and right wheels to keep the plane aligned with the center line. Finally, after slowing to taxi speeds, the aircraft continues to the gate. The combination of aerodynamic forces, engine management, and brakes has taken it safely from hundreds of kilometers per hour to zero, all while carrying hundreds of passengers and tons of cargo. Every landing is a perfect demonstration of Newton's laws, aerodynamics, and thermodynamics in action. Speed must be controlled, forces balanced, and energy safely dissipated. From spoilers converting lift into drag, to engines reversing thrust, to brakes handling millions of joules of kinetic energy, it's a symphony of science. Slowing down an airplane is not magic. It's precision engineering, centuries of accumulated knowledge, and careful application of the laws of physics. Every touchdown is a triumph of human ingenuity, a reminder that even the heaviest objects in the sky can be tamed with understanding and calculation. So next time you watch a massive airliner land, roaring down the runway and coming to a smooth stop, remember, it's not defying physics, it's using it. And that, to me, is one of the most elegant aspects of aviation. If you like this deep dive, give it a like, subscribe, and join me for more explorations into the hidden science of the world around us. The next time you fly, you'll never take a landing for granted again.